to the general public, all media houses, all our members of the church, our leaders across the globe. It's with great pleasure to inform you that I'm safe. Also my wife, Mary, she's safe. We are currently in Malawi for a few reasons that I'm gonna mention as we go with our address. First and foremost, I'd like to thank all people, well wishers, and all the people who have stood with us while in South Africa. Those who have stood with us, starting from different human rights organizations, our members, and all people who have stood with us in all the times we have faced different injustices while I was in South Africa. All right, a short background for those of you it's the first time to come across to this story. My name is Prophet Shepherd Bushiri, a leader of the Enlightened Christian Gathering Church that is currently in more than 70 countries in the world. And according to our recent census, we have recorded about 7.8 million people who have registered online as members globally, and about 3.2 million people have registered as members in South Africa alone. I went to South Africa in 2015, where, among others, I have a ministry that I was running, and I'm still running until now. And also, I'm a businessman who do different businesses. And when I came to South Africa, our ministry grew rapidly. And because of that, we have, where I can say, both positive side of it and negative side of it. Yeah, being a young black person, having success has attracted different attractions, and some of them are positive and some of them are negative. But that's a story of another day. But the main issue I want to address today is I am currently in Malawi. I came here the night of Wednesday this week. I came here for a few reasons. As we are all aware, and that I have got cases in South Africa that I have to answer. And as I promised that I do not want to abscond from any trial in South Africa, and I will not, because it's a wish of every person to have a fair trial and to have their innocence proved before courts. I believe in the law, and I'm a law-abiding citizen. But the events that have been happening in South Africa are so much uncalled for, and I can call that I can say that there are a lot of injustices that have been happening in regards to my constitutional rights as a human being. As I said in the background of all the events, in 2017-18, I had a lot of problems with some people who were coming to me in the name of law enforcement, or let me say police officers who were looking for money, to extort money from me. These people gave me tough time to extort money from me, and I opened cases against them with the IP department in 2018 in South Africa. IP department is a department that investigates corrupt police officers, among other duties they have. In 2018, I also reported these people to the National Commission of Police. I reported this issue. After reporting to him, he referred me to the former Minister of Intelligence, Minister Bongo. He also referred me to Minister Bongo. He called the head of intelligence, his name was Fraser at that time, to hear my case. Not only that, I am told that there was General Matakata in South Africa who was informed of this issue. In 2018, when this thing was not being done, we went to the Inspector General of Intelligence as well to report this matter, that there are people who want money from me, and they're saying if I don't give them money, I will be arrested and I'll create so many cases against me. When these things were not being addressed, I thought of coming to Malawi in 2018 to involve human rights groups. And the human rights groups in Malawi wrote the South African Rights Commission, Human Rights Commission, where they addressed them that the prophet in your country is going through a lot of injustices and threats. These threats continued to a level whereby in 2018 I had to, for the safety of my kids, send my kids back home to Malawi. And as I'm speaking to you, they've been here since 2018. At that time, one of my child was 4 years and one was 6. But because of the threats I was getting from these people in exchange of money and or arrests, I had to send my kids to Malawi, though they were very young. I had to send them to Malawi for safety reasons. As I've said, I informed a lot of agencies in South Africa, including the National Commission, the Minister, the IPD department that opened the case against them. The human rights groups in Malawi wrote the South African Human Rights Commission, and the South African Human Rights Commission also wrote the judge president of the Hawks, informing the office what I was going through. That is in 2018. Shockingly, in 2019, the same group of police officers I had opened cases against with IPID, they came to arrest me. I felt unfair and injustice because I have a case against them, and them to have a case against me, I thought they would excuse themselves from this case and have an independent group of investigating officers carry the case. But this did not happen. They arrested me and my wife over buying a private jet. They claim it was money laundering. And we were arrested for claims of money laundering. Of course, though, eventually in the court indictment, there was no money laundering. They attached my private jet on money laundering issues, even though eventually they have removed the money laundering case in the court indictment. And I wonder, why are they still holding my private jet if it was money laundering case that they were holding in my private jet? Eventually, they changed the case to contravention of foreign exchange, which, according to me, the things they claimed applies to someone who is a South African citizen. I did not buy a private jet as a South African citizen. I was a foreigner at that time and did not hold any permanent residence in South Africa. As such, the act they mentioned did not apply to me as a foreigner who bought a private jet. More importantly, that I provided with the courts how I obtained the money and how I made the money. And having said that, these same police officers were still on me, and I had a lot of people coming to me to claim they've been sent by these 5 police officers, of which I have the evidences, and I presented the evidences before, even to the judge president of the Hawks. I also presented these evidences to say these people are making up cases against me, and all they want is vengeance because I opened cases against them. I would, in a fair case, I would expect to have the people who I opened the cases against to excuse themselves from handling cases against me. I am subject to any investigation. I don't want to show or prove that I'm immune to an investigation. I'm not. But I believe I am subjected to a fair investigation that is legal, not illegal. I therefore, when I saw that the same investigating police officers who I opened the cases against of extortion were still on my case, I told my legal team that I want to be heard with the Constitutional Court of South Africa, which we made applications to say I have got rights that I need to be heard by the constitutional courts. Unfortunately, I wasn't given an opportunity to present myself before the courts, and to make matters worse, these same police officers came to arrest me again. Why they arrested me again for the second time is because I also opened a case against one individual and one company that came to our church and took a lot of money from different people and defrauded our members in the church, and I had a problem against it. What I did, I called my partners to help the victims who were defrauded. I called lawyers to assist me in this issue, and they were assisting me over this issue. We even went forward to approach the National Prosecution Authority that there are two groups of people that are defrauding our people. One company, and we even helped the National Prosecution Authority with my lawyers to make affidavits how these people were defrauded. When I saw that, I involved my partners, as I've said, to raise money. Over 55 million rands was raised to help the victims. And I opened a case against the people who defrauded the members in the church. Shockingly, when these same police officers arrested the person who defrauded us and also arrested me. And to make matters worse, arrested my wife too. For what reasons, nobody knows. Okay, I have got no problem with the arrest they did against us. But what was more shockingly is the life threats I began to go through while I was in South Africa. In February this year, I almost got shot in Sandton at a filling station. I opened a case in South Africa. There is a footage. I think it's right now the Sandton police, they are aware of this case. They even have a footage where my life was at a risk. I almost got shot. And until today, nothing has been done. I feel my life is not safe in South Africa. So many times I've had attempts of assassinations. I feel my life and my wife's life is not safe. I wouldn't want to die while my name is not cleared. This is the reason why I decided to come to Malawi. After all the attempts I've mentioned, that I tried all those attempts to my power and my strength to be heard by all relevant authorities in South Africa, I was not heard. And this is why I'm in Malawi. I have arrived in Malawi, as I said, Wednesday night, and I'm here right now in Malawi. Unfortunately, our president in Malawi left for South Africa the day I had arrived the following morning, so I have not had any moment to discuss this issue with my government. We are thinking, we have made a decision on Monday to formally approach and communicate with the government of Malawi on the concerns I'm about to mention now, that the government of Malawi should help in raising up these issues that I want to raise. As I've said, I arrived on Wednesday. I have not yet met any government official in Malawi. I haven't communicated to any government official. As I said, the president was away. And we are communicating formally to the government of Malawi on Monday on the following issues. One, I am in Malawi, not running away from any trial in South Africa. If I wanted to run away, I couldn't have come to Malawi, and I couldn't have announced that I'm in Malawi. Running away, you go in a country where you don't tell people where you are. Right now, I'm informing the whole world that I'm in Malawi, and I'm here in Malawi because I'm a citizen of this country. Therefore, I have come to seek for my government intervention over the following issues I'm going through in South Africa. One, that my safety in South Africa is not okay. I am seeking my safety to be considered, that the government of South Africa should assure me of my safety, as I have said that my safety is not okay. I have opened a case where I'm looking forward to have a feedback from the government, whether the people have been arrested or anything has been done to the people who wanted to kill me in South Africa. In Sandton, until now, I'm not being communicated. I also feel, as a second point, that there's a conflict of interest. I open cases against these people who all the times are the ones who are arresting me. And I feel that there's injustice. I can't have a fair trial in such regard, in such cases, where same people I opened the cases prior to them arresting me are the same people who are coming after me. One would wonder, in South Africa, are they the only police officers that the government of South Africa has? Can the South African government have a different independent group of police officers who can investigate independently, who have got no conflict of interest? These are issues that are really concerning me, because I want, as any person, to have a fair trial. I've come to Malawi to lodge these concerns, and I hope to do that on Monday, that the Malawi government should intervene for my safety in South Africa. So I am partially, temporarily in Malawi to lodge these serious concerns to the government of Malawi, that they should help me as their citizen, that they should talk with their fellow counterparts in South Africa and communicate these issues, more especially for my safety. I would not want to die while I have not cleared my name. I would want, it's to the interest of every person to have a fair trial. And I hope I will not have a fair trial in South Africa. To make matters worse, one of the investigating officers who is investigating me on immigration issues was arrested on corruption cases. As I'm speaking right now, he's arrested and is part of the team of the investigating officers investigating my case. This is to show you how much my statement means to you, and I'm telling you that there's been so much extortion issues to get hold of me, and I feel there's vengeance against me. This is why all these cases are being opened against me. So I'm calling for that the justice system of South Africa should look on these matters seriously. I've also instructed my lawyers that on Monday they should make an urgent application in the courts of South Africa that my bail must not be revoked, as I've come here only to seek for intervention of the government of Malawi, that they should consider these issues as they will lead to fair trial. To also make a statement on that, I was under the scrutiny of South African law authorities in South Africa, and on Monday I'll be subjecting myself as well to the Malawi law enforcement. Whilst I'm here in Malawi, that I'm here, and in case of anything, I'll be also subjecting myself to the law enforcement agencies here in Malawi, as I'll be presenting my concerns to the government of Malawi that I am still under the law. And I'm putting myself as well on Monday under the law. I'm not here to run away from trial. As I said, I would want to have this trial be done. But I don't think there will be fairness in this trial if these issues are not considered. Right? So this is the reason why I want to address the general public that I'm in Malawi. I'm calling for fairness to my trial. I want the justice system of South Africa. I believe in the law system of South Africa and the justice system of South Africa. And I believe that the justice system of South Africa can appoint an independent group of investigating officers who are not implicated, because I opened cases against them prior to them opening cases against me. And I think and feel I can't have a fair trial. Another thing, part of my concern that I want to raise, if the South Africa justice system can also look at this matter, because part of my concern, being a black person, being investigated by these 5 white police officers, having about 3 white prosecutors and having a white judge, I don't think I'm going to have a fair trial. I want this also to be looked upon, that there is a fair trial that we are going through. So I'm in Malawi right now, not to abscond from any trial, and I'm not running away. I have not sold any property in South Africa. I have not exchanged any company. I have not transferred any money from any of my accounts out of the country. I have not changed anything. Everything remains as it is in South Africa. But I'm here to seek for my government intervention, of which I believe when I communicate with them officially on Monday, I believe they will intervene as their citizen to make sure that the South Africa government intervenes on these issues, that I have a fair trial. With these words, I would also like to raise a point that I obtained a permanent residence in South Africa legally. I applied through the South African embassy here in Malawi, which after 4 months, I was told I qualified for the permanent resident. I got it legally, and unfortunately, to show you how desperate these 5 investigating officers they can go, they are trying right now to push immigration to remove my permanent residence. What does that tell you? It tells you that once my permanent residence has been revoked, I have to be in custody in prison until I have gone through trial. But when will I have trial? Because in the first case, until now, it's 2 years now, the case keep on being postponed. They say their witnesses are not ready. Now, my question is, if this case will stay for 6 years, if they cancel my permanent residence, it means I'll be in prison for 6 years waiting for the trial to happen. Is this fair? Is this justice? I don't think it is. They came out and said they made a mistake in issuing permanent residence against me. How would that be my problem? How can I solve that problem, and how can I explain to the public? The immigration owes the general public an explanation, not me. I'm not involved. To make matters worse, the South Africa justice system, the judges in South Africa, they ruled that they should not revoke my permanent residence until I have gone through trial, until I have gone through the trial. To make sure that I am still in this problem, they have again brought in a leave to appeal against the judgment by the courts that they still want to revoke my PR, claiming I should do representation before the Minister of Immigration, where I'm supposed to go and do representations how I got my PR. Well, that's okay. I would do that. But how would I do representation to the minister who has already taken a side? We all heard the Minister of Immigration in South Africa making statements against me, xenophobic statements against me 2 weeks ago when I was arrested. So how would I make representation before that minister? Is this justice? This is why I'm in Malawi currently, to present my case, to say, can the government of Malawi not allow the citizen of the country, or their citizens or other citizens, not to go through such type of injustice? This is injustice, and I'm calling for Malawi government to intervene to make sure that I have got a fair trial in South Africa. This is why I'll be addressing and presenting myself before the justice system of also Malawi, before the law enforcement of Malawi on Monday, to say I'm here, I'm not running away, this is my address, I stay here in case they want me, but all I want is fairness in this trial. I am not running away, and I can't do that because I want to see justice in my trial. With these words, thank you so much for listening to my address. I had to do this. I had to come to Malawi to make this address because as part of my bail conditions in South Africa, they said I should not comment anything. I should not say anything. What does that tell you? I should not say anything. I should not comment anything. Now, am I having my rights? I shouldn't say anything. We have got human rights, and one of the rights is freedom to speech and expression. I can't express myself. I can't express my feeling over this case because they said I should not say anything as a bail condition. One of the bail conditions which is so and greatly criticized judicially is that they said I must not directly or indirectly be in touch or communicate or talk to any state witness. Well, I have no problem with that, but who is that state witness? They never told me who is a state witness. Now, you tell me if I'm in South Africa, if I talk to my driver, do I know? Maybe he's a state witness. If I talk to my neighbor, do I know? Maybe he's a state witness. This is why I had to leave the country, because I don't know who is a state witness. Because one of the bail conditions, I must not talk to any state witness which is anonymous. Now, how would I live in the country? What about my pastors? Maybe they're state witnesses. What about my leaders? What about my church members? I talk to people. I'm a public figure. I talk to everyone else. I speak to everyone else. So for my safety, I am in Malawi right now, and these people, they have tortured my life, tormented my life. I informed all, as I said, law agencies in South Africa, all relevant authorities, and nothing has been done. So I'm back home to inform my government to look at it that I have a fair trial in South Africa. I hope my government will listen to my formal communication and to me, as I'm not yet in touch with my government. They were away. When I arrived here, they were not in the country. I hope this communication is going to get into the knowledge of my government, and my government is going to take it up to make sure I have got a fair trial in South Africa. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.